Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get going here, I suggest you click the settings below, speed it up to 1.25 or 1.5. I think that makes the videos a lot better. So today's topic, Bill O'Brien getting fired by the Houston Texans. Obviously, it was long overdue. Ran the franchise into the ground. The terrible DeAndre Hopkins trade, the terrible Jadeveon Clowney trade, giving up way too much for Laramie Tunsil, some horrible game management, especially in clutch situations. Bill O'Brien should have been fired years ago, long overdue. But congratulations to the Texans for finally coming around to seeing that they needed to get a better head coach and general manager running that team. So let's get into the lessons of Bill O'Brien, because those who don't learn from the past and the present are doomed to repeat those mistakes. So first of all, the number one, I think, lesson to be learned from Bill O'Brien is if you have a good general manager and a good scouting staff, leave them alone. Do not interfere with them. Bill O'Brien pushed out Rick Smith, the general manager of the Texans. And over a 10-year span under Rick Smith, the Texans were the only team in the NFL not to have a first-round pick go bust. And that is just a phenomenal track record. And then when you consider that not only did they not blow a pick, they had some absolute gems. They get J.J. Watt, future Hall of Famer, outside of the top 10. DeAndre Hopkins, best wide receiver in the NFL right now, late in the first round in a terrible draft in 2013. He takes Deshaun Watson outside the top 10 in 2017. You had a lot of other good quality picks in there, like Kareem Jackson from Alabama. By the way, I have CBS's Alabama A&M game going on behind me here. I figured it might be nice to have a competent coach like Nick Saban in our presence here right now when we're talking about a failure like Bill O'Brien. Anyways, I digress. But you had a competent, good, solid first-rounders like Kareem Jackson, Brian Cushing, Whitney Merciless, in that 10-year run as well. So, and obviously they made other wise decisions, taking Jadeveon Clowney instead of Blake Bortles. They didn't reach, they didn't panic, they took the right player. Obviously Bortles was out of the NFL and Clowney's one of the top edge defenders, so they made the right decision there. And then you look at other great picks made by that scouting staff, whether it's Bernardrick McKinney and Zach Cunningham on day two. You had DJ Reader, a fifth-round steal, one of the best run-stuffing defensive tackles in the NFL, who the Texans are missing tremendously this year with their terrible run defense. That was a pick that Rick Smith and that staff made that was brilliant. You had other late-round and undrafted free agent successes, Arian Foster, A.J. Bouye, two of the top undrafted free agents in the NFL over the past decade. Those were guys that they brought in. So they really did a phenomenal job of putting talent on that roster. So that is the number one lesson. If you have a good GM and scouting staff, don't screw it up. Let them do their job. Stay out of their way. The NFL is too big of a world for one guy to be head coach and general manager. The only one in the modern era who's really been able to pull it off has been Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick had a Hall of Fame quarterback in Tom Brady that was a great deodorant and covered up a lot of draft mistakes that Belichick has made. But, when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback like Brady, that just is such a difference maker. So, but otherwise, other than Belichick, you really have not seen a successful head coach and general manager. It's just too big of jobs to have one person do both. So we've learned that lesson once again. It went away. It was in vogue in the NFL for a while ago. Teams got smart, realized that it doesn't work. The Texans fell into that mistake because Cal McNair just seems utterly clueless in terms of running the Texans franchise. Hopefully for them, they get the head coaching hire right. I think they should hire a general manager. I don't think Jack Easterby is the right guy to be running the team like that. I think they need a true general manager. There's some great candidates available. If you look in our videos here in Walter Football a few weeks ago, I went into some GM candidates and some great ones available. And then the last lesson, I think, from Bill O'Brien is in the NFL these days, Bill Belichick's the anomaly where he can be a giant jerk and get away with it. But when other coaches try and pull that kind of scheme, you better win right away and you better show a track record of success. Otherwise, over time, when losses start happening, locker room's going to turn, fan bases turn, there's turmoil within the organization. So Bill O'Brien just being a nasty SOB all the time, as one Houston media guy told me, just a complete masshole. And he just was so toxic in that building. I've heard so many stories from scouts about him MFing personnel and getting in these loud shouting matches, screaming at workers. These are teammates. These are guys that the Texans need working together to lead to a better team. And he's MFing them in hotels, getting in shouting matches on the field, at practice, and the bill. It's just ridiculous. I can't believe Cal McNair tolerated this as long as he has, because it's just not the sign of a winner. He's not building a cohesive team. And you've seen that slowly decline here over the past few years in terms of how they play on the field. And this year, it just really looked like he was being tuned out by the players. He lost the locker room. They said it in the kind of the post-mortem media. And it's been clear for a while that the locker room was not really behind Bill O'Brien. So really, these are the lessons to be learned. You can't be a jerk like that in the NFL unless you're Bill Belichick. Everyone else, whether it's him, Greg Schiano, that act just isn't going to work. Two, you cannot do the head coach and general manager and the same guy. You know, how can a head coach, for example, he's preparing to play for a game on Sunday. You have GMs who are at college football games on Saturday watching players in person, watching quarterbacks, watching key players that could be starters on their team next year on the defensive side. And a coach can't do that. He's with his team, maybe at a hotel on the road or the team hotel the night before the game. They're doing walkthroughs, they're having meetings. So he's not able to scout the way a GM really needs to be able to scout. So any team that considers doing a head coach and general manager is just absolutely foolish. Bill O'Brien gave us the most recent proof. And you cannot run away good scouts and GMs. If they're doing a good job drafting talent, then as the coach, it's up to you to win with those players, but you should count your lucky stars and be so happy that you have a competent scouting staff and a competent GM that isn't blowing first-round picks and saddling you with a bust that you have to play for 2 or 3 years hoping the guy turns around and clicks and it comes all together. If you have a good scouting staff and a good GM who's consistently hitting that first-round pick and getting other picks right on day 2 and in the mid-rounds, you should be so grateful and be very happy with that, and just build a team, work with them, build a positive work environment where you let people do their jobs and trust them, and then the coaches do their job and everyone is able to work together. So those to me are the real lessons of Bill O'Brien. It'll be interesting to see if people follow it, if teams follow it, or if someone makes this kind of mistake again. I want to thank CBS Sports for Alabama, Texas A&M. Sorry for the offensive lineman that got hurt there. Anyways, check out the links below in the description. We have our mock drafts updated weekly, prospect rankings getting updated consistently quarterbacks every week, for example. Walt's doing an amazing job on his picks. Check out his picks on walterfootball.com. And the clip videos that he and Jacob do, those are phenomenal. If you want to zero in on a game, just pick that one out. Get that info nice and quick. If you can, like the video, share it, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Draft Campbell. You can follow Walt on Twitter at Walter Football. And I'll be back with you guys soon. Take care.